Hello mates, I hope you're all doing well. So I was recently asked by one of my long-time viewers, JF Costello, on what my thoughts are on framed traditional tattoo pieces. Thanks for the question, buddy. It got me thinking though, maybe I should make like a whole video about framed traditional, so that's what we're doing today. It's no secret that I have long been a fan of American traditional tattoos, but it's only recently that I actually started to come across framed traditional as like a sub-style, and again, it made me think, maybe it's something that some of you guys may have not come across before either, or if you have, maybe you don't know too much about it. So, I've put on my research hat, and let's talk about framed traditional tattoo pieces. So, what are framed traditional tattoo pieces? Well, the name gives you a hint. These are essentially an American traditional tattoo that have been stylized by adding like ornamental frames around the pieces and filler in between each tattoo, as well as typically featuring like a cuff at the wrist. They tend to be like no gap sleeves, like a classic tattoo sleeve where every space is filled, as opposed to being like a patchwork sleeve where you have gaps in between the tattoos, and they can either be done in color or a black work style. These are some artists who specialise in this style. First of all, we have Chris Fernandez, who works at Kings Avenue Tattoo in New York and has done a lot of these styles of sleeves, some really beautiful work. There's also Joe Tatatoti, who works at Good Tattoo Parlor in Milan, who's another artist who's phenomenal with this style. There's Enrico Grosso, who works at Greenpoint Tattoo, also in New York. He does a lot of back pieces in this style, some truly sick stuff. And also there's Samantha Fung, for any of my UK brethren out there. She works at Red Point Tattoo in London. I love Samantha's work, definitely check her out. This is by no means like a definitive list, but these I guess are some of the bigger artists in this style. So if you're not familiar with framed traditional, these artists' Instagrams are a really good place to go and check them out to get a vibe for them. Alright, now I think we'll talk about some pros and cons that I personally think come with getting this style compared to just getting your kind of standard American traditional tattoo style. I mean, there are so many different takes on traditional, but hopefully you kind of get what I mean. So the main pro I think is probably kind of obvious and is the main selling point for getting this style, and that's just that it's a really strong aesthetic style. Look at these pieces, look how strong a look this is. If you love traditional but you want something a little bit different, or you love this combination of like the American traditional style with this more kind of ornamental look, this could be the style for you. The same as if you love American traditional but you don't like having gaps in a sleeve or having clear skin in between the pieces. Again, this could be the style for you. There's such a strong and striking look that for sure is going to make your sleeve stand out from the crowd. Okay, let's move on to the, I'm really hesitant to call them cons because I don't think that's actually what they are. I think these are just like the differences between your kind of standard American traditional patchwork style sleeve and a framed traditional style sleeve. Something to be aware of, although I'm sure it's kind of obvious from looking at pictures, is that they involve a lot of background / filler, and there are fewer pieces and smaller pieces than you would typically see in a traditional style sleeve. Because of that, there's less focus on the actual subjects in the sleeve and more focus on the background and on the filler. Not necessarily an issue, but just something to think about. The next thing to consider is that these kind of sleeves are going to require a lot more planning, and it's going to be more like planning out like a classic style sleeve than a patchwork style sleeve. From what I found through my research, you can't get like a normal traditional style palm-sized piece, for example, and then think later, well, I'll add a frame around it and make it into a framed traditional style sleeve. Apparently, artists tend to start the sleeves by tattooing the cuff and the frames first, and then they will then fill the frames in afterwards, so they require a lot more planning and a lot more thinking ahead. Again, not necessarily an issue, just something to think about. Those I think are the big thinking points, so I think what I'll do now is I'll just shove in a nice montage of some really cool framed traditional tattoo pieces to end this video. Before that though, let me know what you think of framed traditional tattoo pieces in the comments below. If you did enjoy this video, give it a like and hit the subscribe button and all of that other YouTube bollocks. As always, if you like the music that you're hearing in the background, it was actually all produced by me. I have another channel where I post beats / instrumentals that I've written for singers to use to write songs to, so if that is something that you are interested in, I'll put a link in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Enjoy the montage.